This video is made for adult collectors because boy, you have to be an adult to put this thing together. So, I like a good Optimus Prime. Like, who doesn't? But this one I've wanted for ages. This is Yolopark's take on a Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, and it's not your traditional big Prime. It doesn't transform, and there goes a quarter of the viewers for this video. It's DLX scaled, and it's a model kit, and it took about 4 to 5 days for me to build. Granted, I wasn't straight building non-stop, but it was a while, and it's a project. Like a big project, but in a good way. Nothing about the build feels like a chore. There are difficult parts, and I'm not the most seasoned model builder. I haven't built a model kit since like a Gunpla I built 7 years ago, 6 years ago even. Like it's been a long time. So the sprue marks I didn't properly clean up, mostly because I'm not seasoned in the techniques of getting rid of them, and it also helps show you where they are on this model kit once it's complete. But it's mostly because I was too lazy to go buy sandpaper. With all that being said, I enjoyed sitting down with some snacks and some Top Gear, building this idiot, and here he is. And a massive thank you to Yolopark for shooting this my way. They have a wide range of stuff on their site, including these epic cheap Rise of the Beast dudes with more on the way. Man, I can't wait for that Scourge, it looks so badass. And before anyone comes up to me in the comments forgetting how to read, like last time, their base website is in Hong Kong dollars. There are more countries other than the US that use the dollar. The amount of people in the last Yolopark video that didn't understand that it says HKD at the beginning of the thing it was insane. But definitely go check them out. Links in the description down below. Now, is this experience and this figure worth the 170 it grabs? Well, so like I said, the build was fine. There were some parts that were pretty difficult, hence the title. Especially getting all the little details in the torso and the elbows together. The torso was very difficult. The legs weren't as complex, but they were slightly taxing to build because there's a lot of moving parts. The level of detail inside and outside, though, is huge. There's so much going on here. I haven't put the decals on his arms because if I'm being completely honest, I kind of like the way it looks without the yellow triangles. But he does come with the triangles, in case you're wondering. There is no battle damage, because this is a model and you paint it. You're supposed to add as much or as little detail as you want to the kit yourself. I do wish he had LEDs in the eyes, because they look a bit dead here, but then again, you're supposed to like, paint it yourself, and so I could paint them to be brighter if I wanted to. Now, this guy being big and detailed, you would expect the posing to be very good, and this is where I start to go, it's good. It has all the joints you'd want, almost all the joints. It's just doing those poses can be a bit of a chore.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is.
So before, oh, my knee just cracked. So before we get into the articulation of the kit proper, I want to quickly go over some of the features that this guy has, like the play features, because there are some play features, starting with the gun. The gun is in this configuration right here, the out of focus configuration. There we go. The out of focus configuration, that was a stupid joke. But you can remove the magazine. There's no bullet in there, but you can remove the magazine, which is really nice. You can also open this flap up at the back, fold in the palm tab slot thing, and then you can shift this and the sight goes in and out. And this is something the big one does too. I'm not sure why it does this, but it is cool. Getting the, there we go, getting the palm slot out can be a bit of a pain. But yeah, that goes up and down. That's really neat. The axe does nothing. Now on the actual figure itself, there is another play feature other than posing that this guy has. And that is, you have these little missile racks in his shoulders, which I think is neat. Obviously, he never used these in the movie because he had 10 seconds of screen time, but it is pretty cool. Now, the actual articulation on this guy, he has a lot of joints. But because it's a model kit, you have to be careful with it. It's unlike, whoa, almost dropped it. Unlike this Yolopark model kit where it's a figure's base skeleton and then model kit parts on top of it. This is built kind of more like a Bionicle, whereas this is built like a Gundam. This you got to be careful with. This one I can thrash around no problem, but he fell over earlier and a bunch of little bits flew off. So you got to be careful. You can glue the non-moving parts on because, again, this is a model kit, and that's probably something I should have done, but I didn't want to make any mistakes and glue something down and then have to take it off, and then it's glued, so I'm screwed. So, yeah, but I might go back and glue some of the bits that don't need to come off ever again. So, anyways, the head is on a ball joint at the base of the neck, and then there's a hinge, a little C-clip at the top, so you can get a little bit more tilt. Kind of wish it was a ball joint so we could look up further than that, and he actually looks down pretty good. Shoulders can do a full 360. They can go out. Shoulder pad can move up slightly to accommodate for the arm to go out about that far. You do have a butterfly joint as well, and this is on a double ball joint along with the shoulder pad can hinge. You have bicep rotation. Now, the elbows. This is cool. I'm going to take it off so I can show you. There are a lot of moving parts in here. So when you bend the elbow, his bicep compresses and all this stuff extends. So I'll show you the bicep first. See how that just compresses in like that and then clicks back out? Then you watch the back of the elbow and all that new detail is exposed, giving you a full bend, which is very, very cool. And then the wrist, oops, you can pull it all the way out. The wrist can extend, hinge back and forth. It's on a ball joint so it can rotate. And all of the fingers are individually posable, but because they're just sort of like clipped on, they come off fairly easily. Obviously, it's not going to do it now because the camera's on, but during that posing segment, they would constantly falling off. They're not like Commander Stars, though, where they'll break. They just come off, and you just got to put them back on because there's no pin shooting through it. Now let's reattach this so he's not disembodied anymore. There we go. Now another feature his torso does is be not in frame. There we go. Is you can open, oops, I pulled that off. You can open this section up like that. Then you want to take this section, open it a little bit, fold this down and out. That's a bit of a pain to do. And then this goes into here to reveal the matrix. It is removable, but good luck trying to get it out of there. But he does have a matrix chamber, which is really neat. And this matrix kind of matches the RoboSun one more so than it matches the MPM one. So obviously nobody knows what Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime's matrix is supposed to look like. But yeah, let's just close. Closing this is a pain in the butt because you kind of have to like get this around that to go into place. Then get this all reset back in. There we go. Yay, we did it. Let's just get his arms out of the way. Now he does the 3-0 back thing, sort of. So with 3-0, when you move the back, it exposes new detail, which is very, very cool. It's one of 3-0's big staples is that all gets exposed. However, on this, the detail's all there. It just extends like a muscle. It's very, very cool how it works. Unfortunately, because of all that gimmickry, the torso articulation is very limited. But it does do a lot of cool stuff. Now you notice this little gray part right here is missing from up here. That's because it fell out. And before I could put it back in, my sister decided to play with it and snapped it in half by accident. So it's not going back in there. Yay. Anyways, I'll bend the torso forward. Watch. You see how all that stuff at the side there move? Oh, the hip skirt moves. Watch his side right here. See how all these little parts move? You don't get a huge ab crunch out of this, but it is very cool to watch the whole thing just extend. Like even the bits down here move. See that? That's very cool to watch. It's very, very neat. However, it does sort of limit his torso articulation because that's about the side to side you get. And that's about the waist swivel you get. You can pull it out a little bit, get a little bit more side to side and a little bit more waist rotation. But yeah, this design though doesn't really lend itself well to waist rotation. Like, where's the other one? Where'd the other one go? Here it is. Thought I lost it. Like that's all you get out of this one as well. And the 3-0 one I've been told is very limited in the waist as well. And it's almost like this design was made in a few months. It was a last minute rush job, right? So there's a lot of problems with this design that are evident when you start to build this model kit. Not on Yolopark's part. Yolopark just did a good job at making a model kit. On the actual ILM design, it, or whoever designed the CGI model, he's got bicycle chains in his arms. Anyways, the legs. The hips can go, well, the hip skirts can all move. These ones can move out and come off their ball joints. Get back on the ball joint, there we go. And that can move out. It fell off again. You got forward about that far, back that far, and in and out. The hips do drop down, so you can get a little bit more forward. About that far, back that far. Does help when you bend the knee, this panel slides and you get a little bit more forward motion. But then you can't extend the leg all the way. Again, that's the nature of this design. Let's put that idiot back on. Actually, I'm going to take the leg off so I can explain how the leg articulation works. And then plug this non-cooperating ball joint back in. There we go. The leg also, just like the arm, does some very cool stuff when it's posing. But also, kind of like the torso, it's constantly at this sort of curved state. And that's, again, due to the nature of the design, which is another reason I don't really like the Bumblebee movie Optimus design much. Like, on the Rise of the Beast design, the leg is a lot more straight when it's straight, whereas this is very bent when it's straight. And it's not like, oh, he fell over. It's not like, oh, I did something wrong, because the peg is sticking straight up. Like this. It's straight all the way down. It's the armor that makes it look like that. Anyways, when you bend the knee, it does the perfect grade, master grade Gundam thing of having all this stuff move. So the knee pad moves, this panel moves, the spring-loaded thing goes inside the leg. It's very cool. So let's look at it from this. Let's look at the panel slide first. All that nice new detail is exposed when you bend it. And then when you look at it from the back, all that stuff kind of compresses down. And this is on a spring, so it just springs right back into place. See? It's on a spring. Now the ankles. Ankles can move down a tiny bit, then go up quite a bit, but then something feels like it's come undone in there. You can move it up a bit, you can tilt it more that way. He's got a toe bend, and if you can see in the back here, they get caught a little bit, but he's got working piston stuff in the back of his leg. So he's quite opposable. Where's the rest of him? It's just a leg. I am leg. Yeah, get on. So he's quite posable. It's just my biggest concern and complaint with the posing is the fact that it's a model kit. And that's just how model kits are. There's no getting around that unless you do the Bionicle style like this guy does. He's fragile because he comes apart. And that is something you're going to have to know about before going into this. Don't expect this to pose like one of these. This is pre-assembled, glued, die-cast frame. It's meant for posing. This is meant to build, pose a little bit, and have on display. And paint it. It's a project. It's a very good project, but it's a project. Also, one thing I believe I forgot to mention in the posing segment is he literally has no thigh swivel because of how thick his thighs are. And that's just a problem with the Bumblebee movie Prime design in general. So at the end of the day, I still think if you're a model kit person and you like Transformers, this is definitely something you'd want to grab. And the price isn't terrible at all in comparison to a lot of other perfect grade like kits out there. It's kind of like in the middle. I wouldn't recommend this as a beginner kit. Definitely build some smaller things before you're going for this. Like those small Yolopark Bionicle like kits, I think would be a great way to start your building experience before you go into something like this. But if you are experienced, you like building models, you love the project and the days it takes to build, this is something you're definitely going to want. I've been looking for a project to build like this that takes days ever since I got the UCS Millennium Falcon ages ago, because I would come home from work, sit down, build it, and it took 2 weeks because that's how I built it, and it was just a nice little thing to do. And this Yolopark model kit kind of offered the same sort of feeling. So if you're looking for something like that, this is definitely something I would say go get. But that's my look at Yolopark's model kit of Optimus Prime. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.